Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to do a little series on here. We're going to talk about red flags in relationships. This is something that, man, I wish I had learned this earlier. I think I would have avoided so many people. But you know what? You live and you learn, and it's fine. So today we're going to educate you on the red flags in a relationship with someone who's narcissistic. Like, let's start figuring this stuff out a little bit sooner so we can also prevent ourselves from going through turmoil, heartbreak, cheating, being discarded, being manipulated, psychological abuse. I mean, the list goes on and on. Let's talk about love bombing and let's talk about sex bombing. Remember, aside from just educating you, because you can learn this stuff anywhere, but I want to help you to understand and learn why you're attracted to this and how to not be attracted to this. That's something that no one can teach you the 1, 2, 3 on. No one can give you the 7 red flags and all those things. You also have to learn why you're getting hooked by these red flags and how to actually change it. When we talk about love bombing, really there's 5 main things to love bombing that happen in the early phases of a relationship. The first one is going to be kind of like, especially for women, this is the knight, the Prince Charming. We're talking about compliments, we're talking about showering you with gifts, we're talking about the poems, long letters, like all of these gestures. They're gonna make you feel like you're the most special person in the whole world. They're gonna praise you, they're gonna put you on a pedestal, like you are absolutely amazing. I can't believe I found you. As we go into love bombing, one of the questions that I get from so many people, and it's something that I even ask myself, is okay, well, if I'm dating someone, like what's the difference between someone who is genuinely interested in me versus someone who is unhealthy? I'm gonna give you the one word that you have to remember when you are dating someone. Excessive. There's a little tiny voice inside of you called your intuition, and that voice is always telling you that this is just a little too much, a little too soon. Now, if you're healthy and if you're very aligned with yourself and you understand healthy dynamics and you understand healthy dating, excessive anything actually does the opposite. It's actually a turnoff. Now, when you're wounded, it might look like, oh my God, this person is so devoted to me. All of this affection and attention, it just means that I'm amazing, that they actually finally see who I am and that I'm worthy. Love bombing and sex bombing really are manipulation tactics. They create this illusion of a fantasy perfect love. Flattery feels absolutely amazing. So if someone is complimenting you or showing you affection, like all of that is great, but it should actually feel a little overwhelming, especially if this is a new relationship, because this person doesn't really know you yet. So to think that you're the one, to think that you're absolutely amazing, like this showering of attention and affection should actually be doing the opposite. It should kind of be turning you off only because this person has no idea who you are. So in the very beginning, all of this excessive texting and constant going back and forth throughout the day, all of this is doing is creating dependency. Number 3, they're going to rush the relationship, and I'm talking serious I love yous, like real early on. You are the one, soulmate, twin flame, like all the words that we just want to hear because we are fed and groomed to have this fantasy love story, which I'm not saying great love stories can't happen, but what I am saying is when you're sprinkling in all of these things in the early stages of dating, no, that's not healthy. Talking about marriage, talking about kids, moving in together really quickly. And could you meet someone and after a month be married and stay married for 50 years? Yeah, you absolutely could. Do most people do that? No, they don't. Number 4, excessive gift giving. As this person does each of these things, they are studying you to see what your reaction is for each of these things. Meaning, what is the thing that you really loved the most? Did you really care that I took you out to this crazy expensive restaurant? Did you like all the text messaging? Were you going back and forth with me? Did you like that we're spending like 24/7 together constantly and now we're becoming super dependent and you've completely let go of like all of your friends, your life, and are just devoted to this relationship? Like, which one of these things did you like the best? Number 5 kind of like ties into all of these things. And really what they're doing is they're creating this sense of dependency. Like you are dependent on them in order to feel good. So let's quickly run through why you are absolutely in love with all of this. So if you love the compliments, then clearly one of your love languages is words of affirmation. Now, just because your love language is something doesn't mean it's actually a healthy thing. In our love languages, if you've ever done the test or if you've ever figured out what your love language is, usually there's about like 1 or 2 that are very much at the top. Usually one of them, either 1 or 2, is the thing that you didn't get, and it is also the thing that you did get. And just because you did get it doesn't always mean that it's completely healthy, depending on how you got it. So if showering you with compliments is the thing that's just gonna get you all hot and bothered and you're just gonna absolutely love it and just feed into it, then clearly you need validation. You need someone to tell you that you're absolutely amazing in order for you to feel it. If you enjoy the text messaging, the constantly touching base, the spending all that time together, there's a dependency there. Usually it's because you are codependent and you have never really felt safe in a relationship. So either mom and dad didn't really ever make it about you. It was always about them. So finally, if it's about you, where someone's checking in on you and they're into you and they want to spend time with you, again, this kind of just like circles back to I matter. Someone can actually see me now. If they want to rush the relationship and the I love yous and the marriage and the children, clearly that has a lot to do with a couple things. It can be insecurity of you just not feeling worthy enough that you can actually attract the type of relationship that you really want. Maybe there's this pressure that you think, okay, I'm at a certain age, I want this marriage, I want this relationship, I want these kids, and so now I feel secure that I have a partner in life. And it's totally fine to want a partner in life and to like have all of those things, but it's another thing to feel very healthy and to consciously pick the person rather than someone just giving you breadcrumbs essentially and you just eating that up. So sex bombing is very similar to love bombing in the sense that it's a manipulative tactic, except the focus is more on physical attention. This isn't the case for everyone, but typically love bombing is something that women love because a lot of these things, the compliments, rushing the relationship, the I love yous, all of those things are emotional things. The sex bombing is usually done by a female narcissist towards a male codependent because it is triggering the thing that most males kind of go with first, and that's physical connection. It's passionate, it's intense, it's great. Like the first thing that I always hear when I'm on the phone, not necessarily, it can be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, but if they've been with a female narcissist, one of the first things is the sex was absolutely amazing. And that is because it was intense. It wasn't always necessarily lovemaking. It was just the frequency of it, which was probably higher than most people in the past. And it was this creating of this consistency in the relationship that he knew or she knew that they could go to this narcissist for the same thing over and over again. Now, sex is what's really bonding these two together. Remember, we're dealing with a narcissist and we're dealing with a codependent. And so sometimes it's the emotional love bombing that can really bond these two people. Oh my God, you're telling me that I'm your soulmate? I believe you. This is crazy. And then I'm now emotionally becoming more bonded to you. I'm spending all my time with you. I'm becoming more emotionally bonded to you. If I'm physically intimate with you all the time, if I'm touching you, if I'm even verbally displaying like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you, I can't wait to be physical, like just all of that sexual energy, it's creating the same type of bond, just in a different way. Both of these bonds, whether it's the physical intimacy or the emotional connection, both of these bonds, once they start to happen, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to see other red flags down the road. We're just talking about love bombing red flags. We're not even talking about anything else. Am I gonna hook you emotionally or am I gonna hook you physically? Having all of this physical intimacy in the relationship, it actually avoids the emotional intimacy piece. So you're so distracted because you're so happy with what it is that you're getting from this person that you're missing that there's an emotional connection that might be missing. Because this type of bonding or intimacy is so intense, it's going to be very different than anything you've had before. So positions, toys, like fantasies, kinky stuff, like all the stuff that you've ever wanted, it's probably going to happen with this person. This person is equating sex and affection as intimacy. This is how this person knows how to be intimate with another person. So really what they're doing is they're just manipulating you to believe your relationship is deeper than what it is. Sex bombing, just like love bombing, is really confusing because it is a manipulation tactic. So the line between is this real, is this affection true, or is this just a tactic, it's hard. It definitely is hard to distinguish between the two. But what I will say, and the first word that I said in the beginning of the video, is excessive. Is this excessive? Is this what the majority has been while you have been dating? Now, just because other relationships didn't work out doesn't mean that they were completely narcissistic people. They could have just been a little unhealthy. Maybe you were a little unhealthy. Maybe you each wanted different things, et cetera, but they weren't on this type of level. So if this is like, oh my God, I've never had this before, this is so intense, like all red flag. So I'm going to tell you, here's the stuff that you have to work on within yourself to avoid all of this. Number one, you have got to trust your intuition. There is a voice that is saying, this is a bit much. This isn't really the norm. Healthy dating is about one really important thing: slowing down and seeing consistent behavior in this person. That's really what dating is. I mean, you are really just hiring someone into your company and you're testing, you're giving them a 3-month, 6-month, 1 year, whatever period to see whether or not this person can actually fill the job role and do it really well. So there has to be boundaries in relationships. You cannot lose sight of who you are prior to get into a relationship with someone else. But of course, you can't even do that if you don't like your life. If you enjoy your life, if you feel fulfilled in your life as being a single person, like you thoroughly are having a good old time. You're just out there dating, trying to find a partner because, yeah, of course, you would like a partner. You would like companionship, friendship, the intimacy, like all of those things. Absolutely. But you are picky. You know what you want. You have standards. You're not afraid to enforce boundaries, and you're not going to lose yourself just because you are starting to fall for someone else. You are also going to see patterns in relationships. You are going to be very honest with yourself when you see these patterns of whether or not this is something that you truly could deal with for the rest of your life. So here's the problem. Most people have no idea what they really want in terms of character of a person. They might say, okay, I want a nice person, a kind person, a thoughtful person. What does that mean for you? Because what that means for you could be very different for what it means for me. So know exactly who you are, know exactly what you want, know that it's out there, know that you're going to get it. If those things were already set, what I just said, you would feel so confident in your life. It would be on another level. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I'm telling you, this stuff is really important aside from just knowing it, but I want you to also know what's going on inside of you that's making you fall for it. So whether or not you're watching this in hindsight and looking back and saying, yes, I was sex bombed, yes, I was love bombed, but what I want you to learn is, I hope this gives you validation, and it most likely will, but I also want you to learn who you were then and what you should have done differently, what you wish you would have known then that you can learn now and implement going forward. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on social. Everything is linked down below, and take care.